Hello, just my fat head, right? Just some stuff for contemplation. I received some letters that sort of put this whole thing into a perspective. It's kind of interesting when you think about it, look at it, and start to ask the questions. I've been in contact with Jill Hennessy, Victoria's Attorney General, and Lisa Neville, the police minister, who you may recall got exonerated of fraud charges by the police. How nice of them. I guess what I'm getting at here is throughout my circumstance, like my specific case, I've just found it interesting that from the beginning I asked a reasonable request that the police themselves have admitted I would need a lawyer on the side of the road to provide a reading, and if that's my right, it wasn't explained to me or anything. The officer didn't give a stuff about that. He was busy trying to make up charges to get something, and basically takes away my rights. If I could have a lawyer there and get the reading, well, I should just get the reading without the lawyer there. Why the argument? A lot of this plays relevance into what I'm going to discuss later because of the letters I recently received, especially the one from Lisa Neville, which is very amusing. And again, just another handball cop-out, but what she says in it, I'll be putting these next to the post because I intend to put this up on Facebook more for people to know. This is what the clowns in the circus are doing, so to speak. And they are a pack of clowns. I'm watching them carry on with this coronavirus thing, and they're suddenly loving it, rubbing their hands. They're putting in all their legislative measures and stuff. Now, you need to be wary of that because the mess they're creating is ridiculous, and it's a real case of Dunning-Kruger, if you're familiar with psychological terms and phenomenon, and these people are nothing short of idiots, incompetent idiots, and they're there for a paycheck. They're not there for your good or any of the stuff they spiel at election time, so remember that, because you've got elections coming up pretty soon. After all this virus stuff will settle down, they'll be straight into that as soon as they can be, because they want you to remember how they've helped you heaps. But off the topic. Police basically sit there, don't provide what they would rightfully have to provide, continue trying to railroad down their own little path. Now, I don't hear from them for 3 months until they've made up some fairy stories and stuff, not realising I have a video thinking it was a joke that verifies what did and didn't happen. Apart from the first part with our conversation, but they had a video supposedly that's gone missing. The amount of evidence going missing, the amount of unsubstantiated facts, these were false charges, a lot of them brought against me, and couldn't even be proven in court, just magically wiped with no acknowledgement. Now, on top of this, the way I was pursued, the week in jail for absolutely nothing, didn't deserve it. If anything, police officers should have been facing some reprimand because they've done a piss poor job, sorry for the language. In fact, at the minute, our local hero, Luke Banwell, I sent him a simple question and he's ducked and stuck his head back up his butt to hide. I'm afraid it's not going to be that easy, Mr. Banwell. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a bit like a pit bull, and unfortunately I don't want something like this to come up, but thanks, boys. You dragged me into your little shit fight in your game, so I guess I just don't play the game on your stupid direct level. And the problem is, I'm highlighting this for people out there so that they can see what you clowns are. The more people that do the right thing and tell you just to fuck off, the better. Until you have an actual right, someone's done something wrong or there's damage. But everything else, you're entitled to give a warning, offer your opinions, and if something happens, you've got evidence there to prove that they were neglectful. But when, you got no business messing with normal people, alright? That's the big failure in the system. And from what I've been told by the police minister, they're allowed to do what they want, make up what they want, and they won't interfere. So I'd put the question to you as people, you've got to ask yourself, right, why do we have a police minister then? As for the Attorney General, I've highlighted the fact of how the courts have just run amok, didn't want to listen to anything, didn't abide by any of their procedures by sentencing or running the courts. Just allowed to put a corrupt magistrate, manipulate the decisions of which magistrate would overhear my case just to get their favourable results, to pin this from going to a high court. Because I know that's what I was pushing for. I wouldn't have it heard in a magistrate's court, because if they were claiming I did something wrong, they should be able to take me to a full criminal court, right? But they want to deny you of that appeal. That's what's happened to me. This is why I get so angsty. This is why my videos that I've put out, I'm trying to explain stuff to people and just be helpful. That's all I've ever tried to do in my life. I'm not a bad person, and anyone that knows me knows that. I'm willing to help almost anyone, and for the amount of times I've been dumped on by people, I still help people. It's just part of my character, unfortunately. And a lot of people have always depended on me to be the one that would get them home and everything. I'm not an irresponsible person, despite what the courts and that would like to perceive for themselves. Although, if you're going to ignore 90% of the facts, including, the fact that police fraudulently made up documentation. They didn't provide the documentation they're supposed to. They've got missing videos. Now let's overlook all of that just to, keep the power in the system. I'm getting a bit over this, and I think it's a joke, and I don't understand how this can come about. Many a time I've sat there going, get angry at our parents, but how are our parents to know? I'm starting to realise some of the stuff they put under our nose at the minute. I got kids. I'm so busy concentrating on giving them a good future. I'm not thinking about anyone working to destroy it from behind the scenes, like Jill Hennessy and Lisa Neville. Daniel Andrews, I've asked him and he's done his usual. He's not a leader, he can't answer for his group or anything, so be very wary of this. Watch him through all of this. He's quite smug through the virus thing, because it's like autopilot, I get to be the hero. The guy's a douchebag, nearly all of them are, and anyone that applies to be in that realm is. We need a proper government back. People are the first priority over all other things, not corporate interests, especially when you're going to corporatise our police, our work cover system and everything, and leave it in the hands of people that seek to gain profit. As I put forward to the police now, have the audacity to say this is all about public safety. It is not. It's nothing to do with public safety. Everything they did against me is to do with ego. Ego, power, and holding up to a system that favours them. The amount of police that get caught drink driving and they get let off, they're still cops, right? They're still pigs in the trough. And yet they've been caught breaking their own rules, and they should know better than any of us. And this seems to be all to occur, and even with our politicians, Lisa Neville, fine example of that. I'm sitting there, she's even stacked on weight like a pig, very funny. It's ironic, I think that's karma. Because when she first started, she was coming in to end corruption and everything. You know what? I actually sat there thinking she sounded like a good politician. Because I do keep my eyes on stuff like this. Like I said, kids change you. They make you think about stuff, the bigger picture. Now, I know people that are distracted by what's going on in America. You need to look at what's going on your own doorstep. These people are in the trough. They're draining it, They've eaten through our parents' pensions and our grandparents' pensions. They're already spending our pensions, This is why your super's taking dives at every excuse. Most of us are better off looking after our own money. If you just put your super in a bank account, you'd get a better return than what you get from most super accounts by the time they take out their fees. Just wake up to it. And I guess that's the sad bit about the world. We all think we're so educated and smart, don't we? We've got tickets and certificates. We're all smarties. That's... take it from me. This is Dunning-Kruger in full effect. you need to be really careful, and it's how a society trips over itself. It forgets about the foundation of what made it, a free, open society, and suddenly becomes the dictatorship of tomorrow. Or let's try and take China's model. Nothing against Chinese people, but their governmental system. Let's take that and try and make it a little more friendly to suit like Australia. And how do you like that picture? It's a funny thing. Being a union rep taught me something a lot more than most other things could do, because that was a whole heap of really garbage courses that they would get you to go on, and really a waste of time that could have been communicated through other means, rather than big classic, let's spend the money. And what I always thought about as a union rep was that's representative money, when they need a lawyer because Safeway pull any one of their 50 crap tricks that they've got in their book for dealing with people, and sort of made me pull my hair out. I blame them for the bald patch, right? A lot of stress in that, and I did that voluntarily, but not for the lack of cost in arguments with my boss every time he had to pay while I was on a course and he didn't want to, even though he had to, and would still deduct it from my pay. Just a joke. Power and ego, right? They're the biggest problems of this world. All because people have just gotten sad, greedy, want everything and anything. I wonder if most people even know what they actually want anymore. I know what I want. I want to be left alone with my kids. I want to live my life. I want to spend time with my friends. I don't want to sit there having to worry about a bunch of jackasses in blue shirts that think they're better than everyone else, violating my rights, my kids' rights, and everything else. How do you put up with this? And when I'm an old man, I'll have nothing to lose, right? So why are you going to mess with my kids? What have they done to you? They've done nothing. Actually, my kids are quite good. They're exceptional within their school. And that's because of me, because of their mother. And, that's a lot of hard work and a lot of time, that isn't appreciated by this system that we're in. But they're our future. They're important. I'll leave you with that thought, though. All those thoughts. I don't think I ever put one at a time, but yeah. And for everyone that asks me if I'm okay and stuff, yeah, I'm good, I'm okay. It's a struggle, like you could imagine. It's not much fun. It's very stressful. And I keep wondering if I'm going to have a heart attack, but my heart's not my problem. I think they found out when I applied for the army years ago. I got like a super heart still, all relaxed and stuff, so not my biggest stress. My biggest stress is the fact that I'm looking at a system that's tied everybody's hands up and then starts fights with them. That's pretty lame. It reminds me of the bullies at school. Too bad we can't give them a biff back, huh? I wish I could tell my kids that, but, I guess we live in a world where it's gone a bit askew. We're worried about the rights of anything and everything but individuals and people. And I've learned that through the Human Rights Commission, but that's a whole other video in its own. Until then, I hope you all keep safe, and I'm locked in my car. I haven't driven anywhere, just in case any piggies are watching trying to pin me. I'm somewhere safe and quiet, just so I could talk to people. But until then, hopefully all is well in your world, and as I think I've said before, hopefully you're not having half the rain down on you that I do. Funny, I made a t-shirt, a Shit Creek one. Maybe I should sell these ones to sponsor the course. It's one of my favourite designs. I did it a long time ago. I already saw this coming. Love you all. Be good.